So with Grant and what he does, it's a little bit different. So he does the fund strategy. So he has a Reg A filing. So, under, the SEC guidelines, most people are doing a, 506B or a 506C, which is, sophisticated investors in the B, all accredited in the C. You can't advertise a B, you can advertise a C. Well, he does what's called a Reg A, which you can advertise, and then everybody, you don't have to be accredited, and then you can have investors as little as $5,000. So he's been very prolific with that, advertising on social media, marketing on social media to allow people the opportunity to invest where, somebody with 5 grand, couldn't invest in an apartment syndication before, or, because they didn't make enough money. Now, under a Reg A, you can only invest 10% of your income. So if you make 100 grand a year, you can only invest 10,000. That's the most you can make. So there are some rules and parameters, but it does open the door up for less sophisticated, non-accredited investors to invest in funds. And then what Grant does is he'll go out and he'll buy the deal with his own money, and then he'll replace it with the fund money that he's raised, which is called recapitalizing. So it's almost like a refinance, cash out refinance, versus like what you guys do, a traditional syndication. You go find the property, you put together your SEC filing, and then you go out and raise the capital for that deal. So that's how he started. Then he's just switched to the fund model a couple of years ago, just because it enabled him to buy bigger deals faster. So what was really fascinating about Grant and guys like that, and then people like me and what I've done in my career, he started with one house, sold that, took the profits, bought a 34-unit building, and well, actually from a rental side, it was just one rental house, and he wasn't making any money. Sold that, decided what, single-family homes aren't going to get me there quick. So he moved into multifamily, bought one, sold that, then moved into a portfolio, bought, and just kind of scaled it from there, all with his own money that he generated from his company, because he had a sales training business, and he kind of grew and scaled that, and has built it into what it is now, which is about 7,700 units, somewhere around 1.7, 1.5 billion, something like that. In the whole scheme of multifamily, he's not even in the top 100. He's doing very well, and that's a lot of people are like, wow, 7,700 units, but in the whole scheme of the multifamily world, there's much bigger players out there, and that's where he's trying to get, and he's working towards over the next couple of years. And of course, this put a little wrinkle in that plan. So that's kind of how he operates, and kind of the what he does, and kind of what I help people do in terms of growing and scaling their businesses and starting from wherever they are, one property, and going to wherever they want to go. And the real key to that whole thing is becoming that leader, delegate, or motivator, right? So you've got to develop yourself first and foremost as a leader. You've got to put those systems in place for raising capital, for sourcing and finding deals, for doing the due diligence, and then for closing those deals. So those are all systems, all processes that initially starts with just you and your partner, right? And as you grow and scale, you've got to put those pieces in place. You got to find those aces and put them in the right place and coach them to success. And that's kind of what I've done my entire career in all my different businesses. So I wasn't actively running or managing any of those. I would find great leaders, good operators. I would put them in the right position and coach them to success. So as we grew and scaled, I'd never built a house before I built this building company. So what I did was I hired some really great people from the top building company in the area, brought them in, and let them build my company for me. And I coached them to success. And the real mindset switch here in growing and scaling any business is, you hear a lot of people say, work on the business, not in the business, right? My mantra, my philosophy has always been, you work on the people in the business, so they work on the business for you. So it's just a little different mindset where you start to realize, wait a minute, it's the people that's going to create scale, not the business itself. So you got to pour into those people, develop them, lead them, coach them, but more importantly, you got to turn them loose and let them do their job and let them build the company for you while you continue to focus on the big picture.